So that's good. Good for her. Good for her. Now, getting to the business, which some people refer to as business, but now you tell me, you hear somebody talking and they're going to say the word business. Would you rather them say, let's get down to business, or let's get into some business? See, that makes life a little more exciting. He kind of said ass at the end of the business sound. I like that because I suddenly I thought of an ass. And that made me laugh because I was just thinking, oh, we're getting down to business. No, we're getting down to business, bitch ass. Okay? Because I'm in his house, Tunizite. And, oh my God, there's Barco. Jim, no, I'll give you his name, Barco. Let me pull it up. I still have the YouTube video up because I'm very impressed by this guy's skill. I believe his mother was either the mother or like the housekeeper on Happy Days. I can't remember. You'll have to look it up because I can't do that right now or it'll affect my bandwidth. But I'm sharing the name. Just copied and pasted this for Barco so he knows who I'm talking about. And he's a very skilled voice actor. If you watch some YouTube videos of him, you'll see one where he does, I can't remember what he calls it, but he's got like 200 famous people up on the screen. And the people in the crowd randomly pick one as he reads using their voices some scripture from a Shakespeare play. So each line he's changing voice to whatever somebody in the crowd picks, and it's very impressive what the guy can do. But again, what's that going to get you? Hey Ash, are you first? If you say you're first, you're first, but Barco's going to have an argument with you there. I'm going to give you first because you're a female. Is that wrong, Barco? Is that being like women, is that being sexist in a way, not gender neutral? I don't know. Is it anti-misogynist? Could be. I'm certainly not trying to be. I'm a fair person. So technically, Ash, you weren't first, but you were the first to say first, making you the gold medal winner. If the competition is who will come into my chat room first and say first, that would be 1ST. Yeah, she said it. Welcome to the chat, guys. Should have some calls from some up-and-coming comedians here soon on the show. Well, I'll be second for Barco. Okay. I think he should change his name too, Barco. It's a hard name to remember. I don't know why you chose mescaline, but I might choose Jim Mestis Pants. Something very easy to remember. So many stars. Do you guys have any idea how many singers and Hollywood stars, actors, change their names? It's most of them. Most of them are not using their birth names. Look it up. Take your favorite star, look them up, and you'll see on the Wikipedia or whatever, nobody trusts Wikipedia, so go to a source you trust. You'll see they change their name. What about Jim Maybelline? Because maybe it's Maybelline. See, that would be easy to remember. Is that the goal? You change your name to Tom Cruise, which is not his original name. Change it to Tom Cruise because it's easy to remember? Is there a big deal in a name? I mean, think about this. Picture the news a year or two ago, and you're hearing the story about Anthony Weiner, but the guy's name is Richard Dumfries. All of a sudden, it doesn't really hit too hard, does it? Oh, you mean a congressman was showing his pecker online? No big deal. No big deal. Anthony Weiner was showing his wiener? That's a huge deal. Especially considering that he's about as pretty as a milk carton that somebody stomped on and then melted, And he's got a beautiful wife. Here's a story. His name's Weiner. You know why he wants power. He was picked on his entire life. Can you blame him? I can't blame him for wanting power so he can get back at everybody, but that makes him very dangerous. Don't put a person in power who's been picked on their whole life because they're looking for revenge. Yeah, bad news. Bad stuff to do there. I would like to know who among you in the chat room can do voice impersonations. And we're going to practice some later when I get my comedians online. We're going to see what voice impersonations they can do. And Derek Cunt Thunder. That's a hell of a name, Aaron. Welcome to the chat, by the way. I was looking at this article from MayoClinic.org. You guys trust them, right? As a medical reference, I hope you do. They're just about at the top of the list on having a reputation for reliability for the advice and work that they give and do. This is stress relief from laughter. Now, before you start saying, well, Kevin, I'm not stressed, I don't need to hear this, I'm telling you that stress can lead to other health problems. You know it and I know it. Just think about it for a sec. It could be random stomach aches. It could be migraines. Humor alone could solve half your problems if you give it a chance. And let's read what they have to say about it real quick. It says here, stress relief from laughter. A good sense of humor can't cure all ailments, but data are mounting about the positive things laughter can do short term. Stimulate many organs. And I know the ones you're thinking about, but that's not what I'm talking about. Laughter enhances your intake of oxygen-rich air, stimulates your heart, lungs, and muscles, and increases the endorphins that are released by your brain. Now let's talk about that for a second. You guys don't know what that means, do you? What do you mean endorphins released by the brain? Do you know the brain often releases its own chemicals and then sucks it back up to enjoy the benefit? Doesn't sound right, does it? Because you're thinking, well, why didn't it just hold on to the shit and use it like... Doesn't work like that. You have to understand the synaptic cleft and the axes and how chemicals move through the brain and exactly where they're released from, where they come from. So these endorphins are essentially natural painkillers, and they're released, and then they're reabsorbed, and you have something called reuptake. Reuptake. I know you've heard of it, SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's almost like part of the neurons have a pharmacy in them. And occasionally the pharmacy says, all right, I'll give you some shit here. That's kind of how it works. You use that image. That'll help you understand it. And that's what they're saying by endorphins released by your brain. It means they're immediately, most of them, not all of them, there's always some loss in the transfer. Most of them are sucked back up right there at the synaptic, at the synapses. Activate and relieve your stress response. A rollicking laugh fires up and then cools down your stress response and increases your heart rate and blood pressure. The result, a good, relaxed feeling. Soothe tension. Laughter can also stimulate circulation and aid muscle relaxation, both of which help reduce some of the physical symptoms of the stress. Now, that was just the short-term stuff. What's the long-term stuff? Improves your immune system. Negative thoughts manifest into chemical reactions that can affect your body by bringing more stress into your system and decreasing your immunity. In contrast, positive thoughts actually release neuropeptides that help fight stress and potentially more serious illnesses. Relieve pain. This is a big one for me, and this is probably why I listen to comedy almost 24/7. Laughter may ease pain by causing the body to produce its own natural painkillers. Well, I don't like that they use the word may there because it does. Laughter may also break the pain spasm cycle common to some muscle disorders. It increases personal satisfaction. You know about that. I'm not going to get into that. Improves your mood. You know about that. I'm not getting into that. These are the longer term ones. And this article goes on. So I'm not going to get back into just reading you shit off the internet. I'm going to share it on the Facebook announcement for this page. And for those that don't want to go there, I'll go ahead and share it in the chat room. This is something that if you incorporate it into your life today and you were never big into comedy but you're having problems, you may find yourself pleasantly surprised by what you can do just listening to some comedy. I mean that sincerely. Aaron, everybody's in the chat room. There we go. All right, there's that Mayo Clinic article, guys. It's in the chat room. If you want to take a look at it, bookmark it for later, you can do all that. Andrew is in the chat room, my favorite Australian. And he is. Although if Trilby's listening, he's going to be like, what the fuck, Kev? I was the first Australian to listen to your show. True, Trilby, but you've been dissing me lately, bro. I think it's probably because he's hyper-conservative, and I'm definitely center of the road with a slight leftward lean on politics. But look, guys, I don't need to agree with your politics. I was listening to a show last night and participating in the chat where the guy was extreme right. And I often hear good things coming from shows like that, useful things, truths, but I also usually sense a lot of hate, and I don't have time for hate in my life. Do you? I mean, it's not worth it. Just, if people are negative in your life, get them out. Just kick them the fuck out. You're going to die. It's a flash, this life. It's a flash. No time. Don't let it weigh you down with people hating on you because they think they're better than you. You ought to be living like this or that. Or you ought not be doing that. You ought not be taking your kid there. You ought not be eating that dish. You ought not be smoking those cigarettes. Don't you touch that alcohol. Stay away from the crack pipe. Well, I have to agree with the crack pipe one, but for the rest, you do what you do. You do your thing. Don't listen to everybody else. Find happiness. Do you know any depressed animals? Can you think of any off the top of your head? You ever seen a depressed moose? You know why? Because he's not living up to any obligation. He's just being. He's just being. He's just living, just doing his thing. And they don't even have comedy and they're happy. Hi, J.R. Wild. Welcome to the chat. Improves your mood. It does. Yes, it does. But you got to find comedy that gets you. You know, some of you guys are into the, for example, like Frasier. You know, you love that cerebral type of comedy. I personally, while I can appreciate the comedy and the more complex things, I tend to look at the slapstick stuff as more entertaining. House pets can get depressed when their owners die. True, but that's yeah, it's true. It's true. But again, that's not something you're seeing every day. The idea is, how can comedy help you navigate the murky trials of your everyday life? And they are murky for most people. You don't want to get up at 6 a.m. You don't want to go to work at a job where you're going to be told what to do, and you're going to have to deal with customers that aren't very happy about their lives and their situations. You don't want to have to pay bills, take that hard-earned money and give it to somebody else just so you can have a shelter and some shitty food and pay for some electricity and make your insurance and car payment. You don't want that. You don't want that. That's not life. That's trading your time for more comfortable time. That's all it really is if you break it down. Trading your time for more comfortable time when you're not doing that job. Amanda, welcome to the chat room. Ash is in there. J.R. Wild. Aaron, of course. I got so many people with A in there that I'm going to have a vowel. Vanna, can I get an E in this bitch? Andrew, Aaron. Paul Dembski's in there. What's up, Paul Dembski? Thank you for the advice and shout out on your show recently. Appreciate that. I will take your advice. I'm going to dip into the funds that I paid into the Social Security Administration for 22 years and take some back out because I'm fucked up. Yeah. You guys wouldn't believe it if you could just see me here in this studio. That's why I'll never do a video thing. As soon as I get a break, as soon as I put some music on or somebody calls in or whatever and they're talking, I'm making the gas face. I look like a man who's taking a shit while having sex. Picture the face. Picture the face. Use your imagination. That's how I look with the pains in my body. I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. And I admit that, you know. I'm broken. Now, they could fix me. It's a very risky surgery that involves 5 large bolts, a piece of my ass bone cut off to anchor in the bottom section, a spreading out of the L4, L5 vertebra, and a trimming out of all the bony fragments that are causing me misery right now. Then again, I could be paralyzed. And to me, I don't care. Think about this for a second. My back pain is so bad that I don't care if they paralyze me in the surgery, because at least then I wouldn't feel anything. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hey, Rick, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Comedian should be calling in here soon. I didn't expect such a big show tonight with regard to chat turnout, but this is what it's turning out to be. And hopefully when Tinfish call... Now, you guys are going to love these comedians. Let me give you a little background on these comedians that are going to call in, okay? And that's going to be any moment that they're calling in. If I was a horse, Barco, yes, shoot me. And in fact, just because I'm a human, if you want to come shoot me, please do. Just make it a headshot and make sure it kills me, because I won't be in pain anymore. If I have about 2 minutes before I die, I will have time to extend both middle fingers to my lower spine and say, fuck you, for 2 minutes, and that will bring me great joy. Aaron, what happened in my back is kind of up for debate. There were episodes. I think high school football kind of crunched it up, because I was known as a hitter, and I was skinny. I was 185 pounds, but I would run into people like I weighed 300 pounds. And just over time, that began to hurt. Long story short, I got this trick pain. It was a trick pain in my hip. We thought there was a problem with my hip. And it turns out that was something with the way the nerves were being pinched in L4, L5 was making my hip hurt, and there was no problem with my hip. So they called it a skeletal-muscular strain at the time. I went on with my life. Went into and through the Air Force, no problems with the back. Blew the knee out in the Air Force, and it's all fucked up now. I had 2 surgeries.